confusing pitch and slapstick nature of Bhoot Police definitely split audiences, where some looked at the positive that there might be actually something fun to finally witness, the others acknowledged on how it was just an attempt to emulate the magic of previous successful Bollywood horror comedies. The criticism mainly focusing on the inept nature of the supporting cast, I really went into this film without any preconceived notions. Bhoot Police focuses on a brother duo of Chiranji and Vibhuti that are presumably exorcism specialists but at this point are mainly calling people's bluffs. While Saif Ali Khan is the skeptic, Arjun Kapoor believes in the teachings passed down by their father about the realm beyond mortals. Upon coming across several cases where the duo have simply made these practices a thriving business, they meet Maya, played by Yami Gautam, who informs them of her locality being traumatized due to the presence of a Kichkandi, a spirit that latches onto its mortal remains and causes havoc only as a projection to the trauma it once faced. Stories of which have been passed down several generations, especially with the Nepali population. When the duo finally comes across a spirit after years of duping individuals, will the teachings of their father come to use? That's what Bhoot Police focuses on. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch it on Disney Plus Hotstar or not. Also, before I get to the review, because I love all your suggestions, could you also write down in the comments of legends and creepy stories of Indian origin that can translate into spectacular horror films? I think this is a genre in India that definitely needs a desperate rejuvenation. Anyway, let's get to the review now. The good. Moments of subtext. The film has been written by a talented group of creators. The screenplay has been designed by Pawan Kirplani, Sumit Bateja, and Pooja Surti. But what's interesting is that the lines oscillate between being plain dumb to sometimes being clever and actually quite funny. I mean, the range can be best described as being as bad as "Tu ullat hai aur main bullet hoon" to being clever and self-aware as Jacqueline states कि nepotism ने पूरे देश को बर्बाद कर दिया है, as Saif and Arjun look at each other awkwardly. So it's rather confusing as the film transitions between being borderline dumb to having moments that actually make you do a double take and think, hey, that was kind of clever. Having several moments of subtext from Saif starting his speech by addressing the people as Mitron, his catchphrase of Go Kichkandi, Arjun Kapoor assuring someone that he has his papers, to even Saif anticipating a demonetization 2.0. The film in moments is surprisingly clever and funny. I mean, it's not going to make your stomach curl due to hysterical laughter, but generally makes you smirk probably, and that isn't saying much though. Locations and sound design. As most of the film has been shot in Dharamshala, what is undeniable is that the film is visually appealing. There is always something spooky about the hills in India. I don't know what exactly it is. I mean, I can probably narrow it down to the dense forest, the abundant exposure to nature, the stories that are passed on, but the locations definitely help in contributing to transporting viewers to the genre that they are signing up for. I also have to say that the sound design of the film is actually quite impressive. While it absolutely fails at even remotely scaring you, there are moments like the sound of a gungru or this creepy background score of a piano that is reminiscent of Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter that got me flashbacks of trying to run away from Filch as I snoop through the library in the game. Saif Ali Khan. The only saving grace in this film is hands down Saif Ali Khan. There is a sincerity to this man that is so endearing that he has the ability to even make the absurd kind of enjoyable. I have to confess wholeheartedly that he is the only performance that is partially enjoyable in the film. And it's all because it genuinely seems like the man is having a ball in front of camera. You know, whenever I think about Saif in absolutely wacky and twisted roles like being Cyrus, Go Goa Gone, or even Kalakandi, these choices that he makes is something that I deeply connect with, as it is such a rarity with mainstream actors to take up such eccentric roles. He is honestly doing most of the heavy lifting in this film, which actually made me feel bad for him. As how much can you really elevate a film that is mediocre at best? There's something about Saif delivering dialogues like "we help you and you help we" and giving me PTSD of how kids trash talk during gully cricket by calling someone Chapad Ganju. My god, what a throwback swear word, huh? Chapad Ganju kaun bolta hai? Only he could convince me partially of the absurdity of this film. At one point of time, he randomly just goes, Kali Urja, and I burst out laughing. But that's about it. What is your favorite wacky performance by Saif in films? Let me know also in the comments below. The underwhelming aspects. Supporting cast. Before I get to how most of the cast in this film is terribly wasted or just showcased really underwhelming performances, it was great to see Amit Mistry in this film. He plays the role of Hari, the general manager of the estate in which the Kichkandi is causing problems. A great talent that definitely left us too soon. What can I say about Arjun Kapoor in this film? I mean, it will be easy for me to go all in because that is the easy and popular thing to do, but he's just there in this film. I mean, he doesn't put forth a performance that completely lets down the film or isn't anything that really elevates its quality. There is an emotional altercation between the brothers in this film where I was thinking, hey, Arjun has some potential, not bad. But that's putting the bar really low of what is expected of an actor that made his debut close to 10 years ago. Yami Gautam is terribly wasted in this film. She is a talent that I have a lot of respect for, but there honestly isn't much to do in this film where she can remotely stand out. Jacqueline Fernandez is just playing a sassier version of herself in this film and borders on overacting as well. She's extremely beautiful, but how long can you just appreciate the surface level while not talking about her skills as an actor? She definitely tests your patience in this film, as the character also doesn't lend much to the storyline other than just complaining about the circumstances. Wasted subplots. Can I sign a petition somewhere which allows a creative team to give Rajpal Yadav a project that his talent deserves? I mean, this is an actor that has made us hysterically laugh throughout the mid-2000s, but in the last few years, we have been seeing him do nauseatingly cringy roles in comedies that at this point, it's just sad to see. He plays the role of a scam artist in this film, and I just felt bad for him as he hammed his way through the few minutes he was in this movie. Javed Jafri's subplot is extremely irritating in this film. It opens up a subplot of a police chase taking place which is fueled by something that happened in the past, and the best adjective to place about this subplot is the word random. Seeing Javed Jafri eventually speak in a language that can only be understood by sheep, yes, Bakri language, was probably the most absurd thing I may have seen recently in Hindi cinema. Even talents like Jamie Lever urging her husband to poop faster while saying how's the Josh is wasted in the grand scheme of things. Rush climax and confused messaging. The film, especially in the last 30 minutes, does not rile up any mystery, horror, or even comedy. It depends on its actors to put forth extremely physical performances, as most of it is related to demonic possessions. But it has to be probably one of the weakest conclusions to a film that could have explored the origin story of the legend of the Kichkandi to a deeper level, making it at least a little enjoyable. You find yourself watching the last few minutes of this film and thinking it's neither that funny nor that scary. The film is set up and actually starts as if it would provide a take on the superstitions that exist in the country that lead to such fear. But it ends up making us believe that the world of spirits and mortals coexist. So even in its messaging, it's rather inconsistent and confused. I actually thought that the origin story of the Kichkandi had a lot of potential to be its own film, and it's showcased and treated very haphazardly in this movie. Attempt to emulate the same magic. What also cannot be denied is that Bollywood has always had the problem of trying to emulate what has already been successful. Oh, the biopics are working. Okay, let's work on making so many that they become versions of the same. Oh, the remakes of Tamil and Telugu cinema seem to do financially well. Oh, let's do so many now that the audience is watching the originals and getting fed up of the remakes. Similarly, horror comedies like Bhoot, and Stree worked financially so well that now these films become versions of the same. A female spirit that was wronged and finally gets justice might be just one thing, but Bhoot Police almost shamelessly tries to emulate the magic of Stree, but doesn't even come remotely close to it. It attempts the POV shot like the opening sequence of Stree, but doesn't come close to its horrifying background score. It tries to showcase a sense of banter among the cast, but nothing can beat Vicky Pledge. It tries to shed light on a sense of community. It tries to show the meet cute of strangers the same way, and finally the interaction with the spirit itself. Who can forget Vicky, Use Pyar Se Dekho, when Rajkumar started mimicking Shah Rukh Khan? I remember the entire theatre burst out laughing. Bhoot Police doesn't even come close to that same magic. I blame Raj and DK, as it has only sprung creators to try and make different versions of the same. Let's not pretend that Bhoot Police is anything special. It's a mediocre horror comedy that is neither too funny nor too scary. And that is probably the most frustrating thing about it. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.